All right, well, welcome everybody. Give everyone a minute or two to. So, welcome everybody. My name is Mike Devlin. I'm a real estate broker, and today we're going to talk about how to launch a successful real estate career. Make sure I get everything working. So what are we going to talk about tonight? Three things. One, why real estate? Usually if you're willing to take time off on a Monday evening to participate in, well, something like this, it's because you're looking for something new, something different, hopefully better in your business or professional life. I'm assuming that's why you're here. And if you were thinking of doing something different, why would you get into real estate? Why would you do it now? How much money can you really make? What do you have to do to be successful? All that kind of stuff. Another topic, though, would be how to choose an office to affiliate with, because once you've decided that you want to be in real estate, the next question is with whom? There's many different kinds of brokers. They operate and are structured differently, and we'll talk about some of the things that might be most important in picking one. And finally, in how to get started, we're going to cover what do you need to do to get a real estate license, what do you need to do to keep your real estate license, how long does this whole process take, and how much does this cost, right? I hope that's what you came to hear, because, well, you know, that's what I'm going to talk about. So we're going to start with why real estate, and also maybe a little bit of why now. And I like to begin with some definitions. You've heard of the word broker, right? And then there's the word salesperson. Now, those terms refer to two different kinds of real estate licenses. You could have a real estate broker's license, or you could have a real estate salesperson's license. From a functional point of view, there's not a big difference. In other words, if you're a real estate salesperson, you can do everything your broker can do, with two exceptions, right? You can do everything the broker can do with two exceptions. Number one is be independent. Salespeople have to work for a broker. Brokers don't have to work for a broker. Brokers can be independent. The other thing you could do with a broker's license is, well, you could brag about it. You could tell everybody that you've got the advanced license, the graduate license, the executive license. You know, oh yeah, well, she's just got the starter license, the beginner's license, right? You could try that. Most people have no idea what you're talking about, or do they particularly care? So the only thing functionally really different is that the broker can be independent. Now, if you're thinking, well, I want to be independent, that's not always a great idea when you're first getting started, but also to become a real estate broker, you need 2 years full-time experience in real estate, or 4 years part-time experience in real estate in the last 5 years, and take a bunch of courses and pass a different exam. So we're going to start by talking how to become a salesperson, because you're going to have to do that first. Then there's the word agent, and the word agent is more of a relationship, in that an agent represents another person called the principal in dealings with third parties who are called, well, they're called third parties, right? So there's an agent and a principal, and then there's a third party. If there is no third party, there is no agency. Now, the point is, I've had many people over the years say to me things like this. They're getting their real estate license, or they've gotten their real estate license, and they ask me this question. They say, well, let's say I get my real estate license, and I happen to find a property that for myself or my family, right? And we would like to buy it. Can I be my own agent, right? That's the question I get. And technically, legally, the answer is no. No, you cannot be your own agent, because by definition, the word agent means you're representing somebody else. If you're not representing somebody else, then you're the principal. If you're the principal, you're not the agent. Now, that, by the way, was an accurate and somewhat maybe technical explanation of what agency is. And I also know that really wasn't the question they were asking me, right? You know, I mean, I answered what they said, but that's not really what they were asking. What they're asking was this: if I get my real estate license and I choose to buy a house for myself, can I save money on the commission? Oh, the answer to that is yes. Not because you're acting as an agent in the transaction, because you're not, you're a buyer, you're a principal, but it's because you're a licensee. And when we use the word licensee, we're referring to anybody with a real estate license, a broker's license, or a salesperson's license. And as a result of that professional status, yes, you could save money on the commission, but you're not acting as an agent in the transaction. And then there's the word realtor, and the word realtor is a copyrighted designation of the National Association of Realtors, which is a trade association, which is sort of like a union. It's a lot like a union, you know, like the Teamsters Union, right? Now, if you're not familiar, the Teamsters Union is a union you might drive if you were a truck driver, right, as an example. Now, if you want to be a commercial truck driver, do you have to join the Teamsters Union to do it? And the answer is no. No, you don't have to join the union. What do you need to drive trucks commercially? You need the license, all right? And if you had the license, you could do the driving. You might choose to join the union. There are some jobs you won't get unless you're a union member and they have insurance and retirement plans and they got stuff, right? You know, they have stuff. But so you don't have to join the Association of Realtors, which is our union. All you need legally to sell real estate in California is a real estate license. However, if you're going to sell 1 to 4 units of residential real estate, you're probably going to end up joining the Association of Realtors, because that's how you get access to the multiple listing service and the key that unlocks homes and other things like that. What could you do if you had a real estate license? I bet you already knew that you could help people buy and sell residential property and get a commission. I'll bet you already knew that. The same is true with commercial. Many times I've had people say to me, how do I get a commercial real estate license? I don't want to go to people's homes. I don't want to work weekends and stuff like that. Business hours with business people, that's all I want. How do I get that license? And the answer is there's no such thing as a commercial real estate license. There's just a real estate license. And if you have a real estate license, you can do residential real estate, you can do commercial real estate. We do. You also can do loans. If you go and get your license endorsed, which means take another course and pass another exam and pay another fee. You can do property management, which means you can help people rent out properties, investment properties, multifamily unit properties, commercial properties, and be paid for helping them rent it out. And business opportunities is where you're not actually selling the land and you're not selling the building, but you're selling a business on the land and buildings, and all of that can be done with your normal real estate license. All can be done. We focus at our office, we do a lot of residential and commercial and property management. I'm just saying. When you get a real estate license, there's different ways in which you could get the license. You could either work for a broker or you could not work for a broker, but you're going to need to work for a broker, or you're going to need a broker to work. Now, what this slide means, many times over the years, people have said to me, I don't know why really I'm getting into real estate. I really like real estate. I've always been interested in real estate. People have always said you ought to get into real estate, but I really don't know what I want to do. I don't know who I want to work for. I don't know the answers to all those things. Do I need to figure all that out before I get my real estate license? And the answer is no. You can go and get your real estate license and not have a broker, and they'll issue you a license. But the license is a non-working license. And a non-working real estate license is like a non-working car. You know, your friends are over, you can show them the car, right? They can even sit in the car, and when they say, can we go for a drive? You're like, no, we can't really do that. You know, it's not exactly what, you know, a working car, right? But even the reason it's a non-working license is that you need to have a broker to be affiliated with in order for you to earn a commission as a real estate salesperson. But you can go get a real estate license. And there are many peripheral industries like title and home warranties and loans and things like that, where people have real estate licenses, right? But they don't work for a real estate broker and, you know, as a salesperson or that thing. Why get into real estate? Number one reason, freedom and independence, right? This is, I've been doing this for a little while, heard that a lot, right? Many years ago, it was a long time, ago, but many years ago, I used to work for a very strange organization. They were weird. And what was so odd about this company is they told us what time we had to be at work each day. It was like they had some sort of a rule, right? That everyone was supposed to show up at a particular time. They would let you know when to go on a break and when to go to lunch and when to come back from lunch and when you could go home. I believe that sort of arrangement is called a job, right? I think that's what that's called. The JOB, the journey of the broke, right? It's called a job. Now, being in real estate is not like having a job, right? It's much more like having your own business. It's being an independent contractor. What I'm saying is we're not going to call you at 10 o'clock in the morning and say, hey, where are you, right? You understand? It's not that kind of a deal. And the relationship that the broker has with the salespeople is much more like a business consultant or a business advisor to a business owner than it is an employer-employee relationship. Now, many people find that very attractive. But do you know what the biggest disadvantage of being in real estate is? Freedom and independence, right? For some people, it's the biggest disadvantage because freedom is a gift not always wisely used. You know, there's a story of the guy that went to work for a big tech company and it's his first day and he's meeting a bunch of people, and at lunchtime he runs across somebody who seems to have been there forever. And this person was explaining everything about what was happening in the company. And so the newbie says to him, how long have you worked here? And the old timer says, ever since they threatened to fire me. Thanks. How many of you know people like that? They work just enough so they don't get fired. Then the company pays them just enough so they don't quit, right? And they end up with this sick relationship, you know? So I'm going to say it plainly, real estate is a non-salaried, commission-only profession. Non-salaried, commission only. That means it can be a high-paying, hard job, and it could be a pretty low-paying, easy one as well. Financial rewards, how much money can you make in real estate? I have some slides and things like with different numbers, but let's use a conservative, let's look at a conservative example. Let's say you sold a $1 million house and the commission on that was only 5%. Now, most of my transactions are at 6%. They're not always, but let's just say 5%. And there are two sides to every real estate transaction. There's the side that represents the seller called the listing side, and the side that represents the buyer called the buyer side. And let's just say they're splitting the 5% 50-50. That means each office, and usually we're talking about two different offices, each office is going to get $25,000. Now, that's the gross commission, 2.5% of this $1 million property being sold, $25,000. Now, what that means is let's say you sold $1 million house a month. You did found six people that wanted to sell their home who sold it, and 6 people who wanted to buy their home and bought it. That's one transaction a month at $25,000 gross each is $300,000 in gross commission income from one transaction a month. Now, the question, of course, is, could you live on that, right? I realize many of you are going to have to cut back a little, right? But we're going to talk about how do you get there. But if you did 2 transactions a month, or you get the idea. Now, some of you might be thinking, well, $300,000, if I made that much money, I'd have no idea how to spend it, right? Or maybe no one is thinking that. But one of the things you could do with the money is invest in real estate. If you've wanted to invest in real estate, being in real estate is a pretty good place to be. You know, there's this old saying about real estate, buy land, they're not making any more of it, right? And given the nature of stocks and other kind of investments, a lot of wealth is oftentimes generated by real estate investments, and real estate agents are in a better position to do those investments. And then there's security. This may seem to be an odd thing for independent contractors, right? Security. But to give a counterpoint, I had a friend who went to San Jose State, degree in mechanical engineering, went to work for Hitachi hard drive division, and after 28.5 years, they laid him off. And he said it wasn't anything personal, because they had laid off the whole department, shut down the division. They eliminated the entire plant, moved it. So even if he had been a perfect engineer, he still would have been let go, because it wasn't that anybody decided that he wasn't doing necessarily a good job or not. They just decided we don't need anybody in this area doing that job anymore. Now, because you're in your own business, as it were, in real estate, you can be bad at it. You can fail at it, but you can't really get fired from it. You understand? If you don't get along with us, you could take your license and go down the street and go work for another broker. If you can't get along with anybody, you just have to tough it out for 2 years, and then you can go get your broker's license and sit alone in your home. I don't know, right? You can be alone then. But there's some security. You can fail, but you can't get fired. Just saying. Ways of getting into real estate. We have a relatively robust group of people that are investor agents. These are people that are doing their own investing. They like the tools, the systems that real estate agents have, the knowledge, the help that we give them. I do workshops on investing in real estate. We help agents be agent investors. And what you learn as an investor or as an agent actually works together, right? Because they're the same ideas. Then there are part-time agents, and part-time agents, I would characterize them as people that have either other jobs or another life, right? A family or whatever. And so this isn't the sole big, money earning thing that they do, but it's something that they want to do, that they like to do. And some of them only want to do this as a part-time gig. Others would like to make the transition to full-time. Full-time agents, I define as people who don't have other jobs or other sources of income, right? This is what they do, right? And so it's different than people that already have another job. And big-time agents, in order for you, as an example, using my $25,000 per transaction example, if you could crank that up to 40 transactions a year, 40 transactions, $25,000 gross, is $1 million in commission income. I'm just saying, right? Now, if you're full-time or big-time, things that would be challenges or opportunities for growth, or something that first of all, this is sales, right? Now, what does it mean to be in professional sales? At its essence, sales is talking to other people about a service or a product, having conversations. And the more people you talk to, the more likely you are to get paid. Now, if you only talk to some people about real estate, you'll only get paid some. If you want to get paid, if you talk to a lot of people about real estate, then you could get paid a lot. And it's not, who do we talk to? We start by talking to the people we know because we know them. According to surveys that have been done of buyers and sellers, about 40% of the time they met their agent as a referral from a family friend or co-worker, relative, something like that. I guess that's family. So you start by talking to the people you know, but then you have to talk to people you don't know, because you probably don't know enough people to make a career just out of talking to them. Now we're getting into the sales part, right? And I'll give you an example. Let's say you want to close one transaction a month, right? $25,000. How many appointments would you need with buyers or sellers or investors in order to have somebody who closes a transaction? Let's say it's 4. Right now, I help agents and mentor agents, and I can improve your average. But let's just say 25% of your appointments convert into a closed transaction. That means you need 4 appointments for every sale. That means to sell 12 homes in a year, you would need 48 appointments in a year. That means you would need on average 1 appointment a week for 48 weeks, taking a whole month off, right? If you had 48 appointments and you converted 25% of those, you would have 12 real estate transactions. So now the question is how do you get an appointment? Well, let's say on average, it's going to take 50 conversations with buyers, sellers, or investors in real estate before you get an appointment. What that would work out to is you would need to have 10 conversations a day about buying, selling, or investing in real estate 5 days a week on average in order to have the 50 conversations to produce the appointments, to produce the closed transaction. You understand? If you've ever been in sales, this may sound familiar, right? And so you have to understand about how to talk to people and how to prospect and how to handle objections and all that sort of stuff. You also might need some reserves. And that's because let's say you were licensed today and your first day you met somebody who wanted to buy or sell real estate. How long would it take before you got your first check? It could be at least a month, but it could be several months, right? Just because it could take a month to close a transaction. You may not go in to meet somebody the first day. You may not go into contract, or you understand that process could stretch out for some months. You need to be prepared to work evenings and weekends. That's when other people aren't working, and that's when they want to talk to real estate agents. You have to be a self-starter. This is one of the things about an independent contractor. Nobody's necessarily going to be standing behind you, you know, saying, get to work, hurry up, go faster. You know, you have to have self-discipline. You have to realize that this is only commissions. There isn't a salary during that time. And you're going to need a few $1,000s, that's all. But a few $1,000s for the licensing process, joining the board of realtors, the multiple listing service, and all that. So to succeed, I've done some of this already. Remember the goal, 12 transactions. That would mean 48 appointments, which would mean an appointment a week, which means 50 conversations a week. Now the question is, how are we going to get that appointment every week? Who are we going to talk to and what are we going to say to them? And the system that I teach agents to use is not so much of a, let's go knock on people's doors. We don't really do that nowadays because of the COVID-19. Cold calling people, in some situations that would work, but warm calls are a lot better. And working on referrals. And because different people have different personality styles, different ways of having conversations or meeting people would be more appropriate for the different styles. So what we would do is come up with a plan for you, right? Which would translate into a schedule of what are you going to do on a weekly, daily basis in order to get where you want to go. There should be training. Coaching is the watching over all of this to make sure that it's all working. And tools and systems, how do you send out the emails and how to use the marketing pieces and all of that sort of stuff. So I've already given you an example. This one is $1 million at 6% commission. It's more. Now, the difference here is when you're a brand new agent, right? So in this example, it's a 3% side, which is $30,000. That's gross commission to the office. Now, some offices start brand new people on a 50-50 commission split. They have mentoring, or some of them, by the way, are even more expensive than that. There are some offices where they have a mentoring program where 50% of the first 3 commissions goes to the mentor. And then the salesperson gets 70% of the 50% that's left over, which is about 35%, but then they have a franchise fee, which makes it like 34%. Right? So what we do is I have a mentoring program for the first 3 transactions. I drag people through their first 3 transactions. And during that program, there's 10% to me for the mentoring. So 60% goes to the agent, 10% goes to me, and 30% goes to the office. After 3 transactions, it's a normal 70-30 split, but it's a progressive program, which means it goes up over time. One of the things you're going to find is that there's like a teeter-totter between what offices pay you and what they're going to do to help you. And when you're first getting started, it's a mistake to go to where they're paying you a lot, because they're not going to help you if they pay too much. You need to have somebody that's going to help you and train you and make sure that your transactions close and you don't end up meeting lawyers and things like that afterwards. I'm going to be doing on Thursday. I didn't realize I still had these slides, but this Thursday, I'm going to be doing a session on what's happening in the real estate market. In fact, Wednesday, I'm doing a home buying seminar, which you will all be invited to, virtual home buying seminar. That's at 11 o'clock. And Thursday from noon to 1, I'm going to be talking about what's going on in the real estate market. And to give you, just a teensy bit, let me just, so some of the things, how's the market right now, right? And this is some of the things that we're going to be going over on, give me a second. All right, how about that? All right, so there's what's going on with all the forbearances and things like that. One of the differences between the market right now and the market that we had before, wow, wait, let me just do the screen. How about that? Is that the forbearances, a lot of the people today have equity, even those people that are have in arrears on their mortgage payment, they have equity. And what that means is that if they needed to sell the house, they would be able to do so. Back in 2008 and 2009, a lot of people were selling and they didn't have equity. Which was different. We actually have seen an increase. Right now, sales are up, right? I mean, in Santa Clara County, they're up. I'll share that with you. And a program that many real estate agents use on showing property is up. In other words, they can see that the number of showings that are happening has gone up substantially. In the West, they're up almost 20%. New listings are going up. The total listings, notice that that's the inventories in the orange, that's going down because people are buying them. Some people are moving because they can, and telecommute. There's an increased interest in people moving to suburban and even rural areas. And then there's a bunch of articles about what's happening. And this is the CEO of Zelman and Associates, whether in terms of pending contract activity or our proprietary buyer demand ratings, various measures of demand captured in this month's survey can only be described as shockingly strong in spite of COVID-19. The housing market has stared the pandemic right in the eye and hasn't blinked. The housing recovery has been nothing short of remarkable. Has not stopped consistent home price growth. And then in the market in 2020, we're going to be talking more about this on Thursday, right? About what's predicted for the end of the year and what's going to go on into 2021 and maybe to 2022. What are some of those predictions? I'm going to cover what we're seeing in the change in the way people are buying homes and building and all that stuff. That's Thursday at noon. You'll get an invitation. I'm sure you're happy about that. So what kind of real estate offices are there? How important is the office? Well, there's national offices. A little bit about my background. I've been in real estate a long time. My broker's license was issued in 1980, a long time ago. I don't want to say that. And I've spent a lot of years. I was the vice president of the largest Century 21 group in Northern California. And 7 years, I was a productivity coach, recruiter, and trainer for Keller Williams. So I've worked a lot with big box companies, big national companies. By the way, the company that owns Century 21 also owns Coldwell Banker and Better Homes and Gardens and ERA and Sotheby's and Zip Realty and Cochran Realty. And I'm sure I've forgotten some. So these are big box, big brand names. There's Intero and Berkshire Hathaway. Berkshire Hathaway owns Intero. Berkshire Hathaway is a Warren Buffett company, right? And then you have Compass, and Compass is a company that's owned by, the investment company is called SoftBank. So these are big names. You've heard of them, right? They have training, some training, they have tools, they have stuff, and they have names. There are also boutique, and some of them are small, and some of them don't have any training. And they only are really looking for people that are interested in no training because they already know what they're doing. And then there's some offices that are sort of cloud-based. Everything is in the cloud. They don't have any offices, right? No physical locations anywhere. Now, what I'm doing is I was a trainer. I used to teach most of the classes for Keller Williams. I was the director of training for Century 21 for Northern California, Northern Nevada. And so what we do is we're a boutique office in a sense. But I have agents in Oakland and Sacramento and San Mateo and Santa Cruz and all over the place. But we offer training. And that involves web-based training, which is all recorded on a weekly basis. You'll get to see something on Thursday if you wanted to participate. So what do you need when you're getting started in order to be successful? You need a coach. And the coach is somebody that would help you with a goal and a plan and implementing the plan, and somebody you could talk to about where you go and what do you do and what do you say. You need training on how to do stuff, how to use the multiple listing service computer, how to use the software to fill out contracts, how to know what to type in the contracts. And then mentoring. And mentoring means that I spend a lot of time helping agents individually with their transactions and with clients. We'll do three-way calls or three-way Zooms or Google Meets or go to meetings or one of those things. And so that I can answer their questions, and that will help the agent close the transaction. Those are more important than the name of the company and other things, because this is all about, it's all up to you, right? You understand? Welcome to the world of the independent contractor, right? This is going to be your business, and in order to get it started right, it would be good to have all of this. So how do you get started? In order to get a real estate license, you got to do three things. One of them is you have to complete 3 college level courses in real estate. That doesn't mean you have to go to college. All of those are included in our program. 3 college level courses in real estate. Then you have to take and pass an exam given by the California Department of Real Estate, and then you can apply to take get the salesperson's license. Excuse me. So before you can apply to take the state exam, you have to take a course in real estate principles, you have to take a course in real estate practice, and you have to complete an elective course. And the elective can come from anything on this list. And this list includes accounting, economics, and business law. What that means is that if you have ever taken accounting, economics, or business law from a junior college or better, and you can get your hands on a copy of the transcripts. It doesn't have to be an original. This isn't like applying to Harvard. If you've done that, you have the 3rd course. Now, I've had people say, well, I've got all 3. Is that going to help me? No, you only need 1 from this list. If you're saying, well, I don't have accounting, economics, or business law, what am I going to do? Our package includes legal aspects of real estate, which is also known as real estate law. And by the way, even if you're going to get access to that, even if you have accounting, economics, or business law, and my recommendation would be to go through the legal aspects course as well, because the Department of Real Estate isn't going to ask you questions on their licensing exam about accounting, economics, or business law, but they're going to ask a lot of questions about real estate law. College level options, you can go to college, right? Not too many people choose that option anymore. Some real estate offices were having people to come to the office and they would do college-like classes there, I guess. The system that I use involves an online college level program. Now, the way an online college level course works is this: you enroll in the course, and then you get a link to the website and you log in and you click on start the course. This is important because a timer starts when you click the button. And you now have 18 days from the day you click the button to start the course. until you could take the final exam. Now, you don't have to take the final exam in 18 days. You just can't take it any sooner than 18 days. Now, the final exams for the 3 college level courses are online final exams. You can take them at home and they're open book tests. Let me go over that one more time. The final exams for the 3 college level courses are online, at home, open book, cheat as much as you want to. Final exams, you can cheat as much as you want to. You get 3 hours to get 75 out of 100 questions right. Did I mention that this is an open book test? This is why they make you wait 18 days to take it, because you could pass right now, right? You understand? We give you 3 hours, internet connection, a copy of the textbook. You could look up 75 answers in 3 hours, just starting cold. And that would make the whole thing look like a waste of time, right? It's supposed to be a 45-hour course. So you have to wait 18 days. And then you can take the online open book, cheat as much as you want to, final exam. Now, I hope you're getting the idea that this is not the most difficult part of getting a real estate license. This isn't the most difficult part. The most difficult part is passing the state exam. That's different from the final exams. The state exam is 150 multiple multiple choice questions. A, B, C, D, pick the best answer. No essays, no true false, no fill in the blanks. And by the way, you have to take the test at their test sites. And their test sites are Oakland, Sacramento, Fresno, Orange County, and San Diego. Yes, you have to physically go to one of those places. And that's slowed down a bit lately. It is not an open book test. No, they're watching you. You're not allowed to cheat, right? So it's 150 multiple guess questions, multiple choice questions, A, B, C, D. You need to get 70% of them correct in order to pass. That's 105 out of 150. You can miss 45 questions and still pass the exam. Does 70% sound like a particularly high score to require? I mean, think of it. You're laying, on the operating table and your brain surgeon looks kind of young. And your brain surgeon says, hey, don't worry, I may be new at this, but don't worry. I passed the brain surgeon's exam. I got 70% of the questions right. I nailed that test. How does that sound? All right. That doesn't sound very good, does it, for a brain surgeon, 70%? It means that the brain surgeon missed more than 1 out of every 4 questions they were asked about the subject of brain surgery. That doesn't sound very good. Right? The 30% he didn't know, maybe that's what he's going to do to me. Right? You understand? So my point is, you don't have to be a brain surgeon to get a real estate license. I don't know if you knew that, right? You don't have to be a brain surgeon. All you have to do is get 70% of the questions right on the state exam, multiple guess, you're in. Having said that, however, every time the Department of Real Estate gives this test, they fail more than 50% of the people that are in the room. Many of them, they have failed before. You can take this test an unlimited number of times. The failure rate for first-time takers is closer to 70%. Now, every time they give the test, they fail more than half the people. Many they have failed before. Of all these people that are failing the exam, how many of those people were able to successfully complete those 3 online open book, cheat as much as you want to college courses? How many of them were able to do that? And the answer is they all did. Because you can't even take this test until you've done the 3 college courses. My point is simple. Doing the 3 college courses does not mean you're getting a real estate license. It simply means you've done the minimum required in order to go take a shot at the test. I teach people how to pass the real estate exam. I have 12 live classes. You can start with anyone, take them in any order. You can repeat them as often as you can stand it. They're on Wednesday nights from 6:30 to about 8:45. They're webinars because, there's viruses out there. And the classes, which I was doing, by the way, for a long time anyhow, and the classes are broadcast on, not only they broadcast on the internet, they're all recorded, and again, you could watch them as often as you'd like. The schedule is like a pizza in that there's no first slice. And you understand it's just, there's no first piece for pizza. There's no first class because I teach all of the classes as independent modules. They don't build on each other. They're all equally confusing at first. So you could start with any one of them. You could take them in any order. What happens when you get to the end at 12? One is the next week. It just keeps going on and on and on and on. So $398 is what the course costs. It includes the live classes, you can repeat them, video replays, a course outline, a huge extensive practice testing program. It includes the 3 college level courses that you need in order to get a real estate license. Plus there's a Saturday exam workshop, a cram class where we give you the final shove before you go take the test. I did one on Saturday, and somebody that went and took the test this morning texted me she passed, ready to get started in real estate. I love it. So how long is this going to take? Principles, 18 days. Practice, the second course, the next 18 days. The third course, the next 18 days. That's 54 days, which is a little shy of 8 weeks. Only then can you apply to take the real estate exam. Now, in a normal world, which we may never see again, it would take 2 months from the day you applied before you're taking the exam. Right now, because of the COVID thing, there's about 6 months before you actually can get it tested. Your license is good for 4 years. Every 4 years, you take 45 hours of continuing education and pay a $245 fee. That's how to contact us if you'd like more information, but check out our website and all that stuff. I have good Yelp reviews. This is a screenshot I took before I stopped advertising in 2018 on Yelp, and so they filtered over 100 5-star reviews off of my site. They said it had nothing to do with the fact that I wasn't advertising. Oh, no, of course not. Why would I think that? So, but this is a screenshot I took before that happened, and this shows the good and the bad, right? I'm complete transparency. Right, at that time, I had 123 reviews and 100, and yes, I know, there it is. It's embarrassing, I know. You can see it. I have had 1 4-star review so far. Now, if you look at the current Yelp page, there's only like 45 or something like that because they keep filtering out 5-star reviews. If you find the filtered reviews, there's almost 200 now 5-star reviews that they're hiding from people because they say they just duplicate each other or not relevant or who knows why. But I'll tell you this, given my relationship with Yelp, if they had any bad reviews for me, you'd see them. I have this feeling. So what should you do now? Well, how about try out a free class, right? See if it's the kind of thing you would like. So you go to my website. There's a button that says free guest lesson. Click on it, right? You're going to see a form that looks something like this. Fill out the form and hit the submit button, and you too can participate in the class. If you're saying, I don't need to sit through a class, or I already have, but I'm convinced already, I just want to sign up and get started, great, click on the button, sign up now. And then that's what you want. The $398 package, college level, live classes, practice testing, Saturday workshop, all there, everything you need to get licensed. And that is the end of what we're going to talk about. Any immediate questions that pop to your mind? Anyone? I'll give it a minute to sink in. I see no questions. You have our phone numbers. My assistant Roz knows this process very, very well, very pleasant, more pleasant than me. to talk to. So reach out to us. We'd love to see you in class. It's a good time to get into real estate. The last few months I've been busier than I've been in a long time. It's things are shifting, but it's a good time to get into real estate.